And if I can address my colleagues, and those of you who are here today, we were at a summer meeting, WGA. I believe it was an occasion when we were at top of a mountain, you may recall, and there sat a good friend of mine, Sally Jewell from REI in Washington State. We began to talk about the fact that as chair I would have an initiative, and we began to talk about what's special about the West that virtually no place else in the country, or for that matter the world, has, that we could promote, that would give us good solid jobs that we would be proud of and would be really family centric. And we began to say, you know, the West is unique, and we can really promote ourselves in a way that maybe we have never done before. So when you leave here today, no matter how you go home, when you go home and you live in the West, if you could just indulge for just a moment to see what we've got. It is a place where you can find the most amazing vistas. It's a place where we have some of the most beautiful places to be found in the world. We have mountains that, and I'm the home of Mount Rainier, which is absolutely majestic. We have amazing forests, and unfortunately some of them are threatened now. We have deserts that are spectacular. We have plains, we have beautiful lakes like here in Coeur d'Alene. The Western landscape is recognized around the world. When I do my trade missions, we do also promote tourism when I'm on them, and people really know the West and want to come see the West. We have our national parks, we have our forest and rangelands, we have our wilderness areas, we have our tribal lands, our state and local public lands, and our very highly productive private lands. But we have seen the character of the West change, and it is continuing to change. And over the years, we have seen far too many of our people who, by the latest census, tell us that they have gravitated into our cities and left behind some rural communities that are now very, very small and dwindling. And along the way, as we've done that, our children have lost their connection to our great lands and our great outdoors, and that which makes all of us in the West proud that we live in the West. I always, and I shared it with my colleagues today, I'm also always a little dumbfounded when we do little polls of kids in grade school and we ask them where fish come from, or we ask them where milk comes from, and everything comes from the Safeway store. You can ask a kid anything like that, and in part it's because we have lost that connection with our great outdoors. In the process of saying that, we've also lost that family connection of promoting our children to understand, to take that kid and go out and go fishing, to take that kid and go out and go hunting. So what we thought we wanted to do this year is to say, we're proud of what we've got in the West. We know we've got something special. We want to share it with our children. It's the legacy that we leave to them. Unite our families again and tell everybody just how wonderful we are. So we're going to promote the West with our slogan, Get Out West. We've got some goals in mind. One is to highlight the importance of the recreational sector that we have. Two is to import and support and boost our recreation, our conservation, our healthy communities, tourism in our states and in our provinces, and put a spotlight on really what we have to offer. Improve our public policies that are going to facilitate tourism and recreation and conservation. And to say to our children, come on outdoors, see what you've got, be proud of what you've got, do it with your families, and pass it on to the next generation. There are a lot of great opportunities that are out there now uniquely at this time for us to partner. The federal government has now launched its own initiative, America's Great Outdoors. Secretary Salazar has visited some of us to talk about that and is willing to partner with us on this new endeavor. Our First Lady has made it clear, let's move outside, to get our kids out away from their computer and outdoors to understand what America has to offer. 2009, Congress passed the Travel Promotion Act that created the U.S. Corporation for Travel Promotion. And there are ample opportunities and very anxious opportunities for those who are already in the private sector in organizations to partner with us, the Outdoor Industry Association in Boulder, Colorado, and the Blue Ribbon Coalition here in Idaho. And of course, we want to work with those small rural areas in our respective states that are very dependent on tourism, whether it's the guy that sells sandwiches and coffee and bait, or the guy that charters a boat, rents a hotel room, offers an RV or a camping place. Those are all very important to our stakes, and they need to have our support as well. So I'll need our help of each of you as we take this new initiative on. But we can share best practices. We heard about it this morning. No child left indoors, brought to you by the great state of Utah. Those kinds of things are going on in the West State. So if we can bring ourselves together, build on our individual successes, and as a coalition say to the rest of America, come out west, see what we have to offer. So I'm going to offer some challenges. We're thinking about some awards to include those for conservation efforts of private companies and recreational groups, public or nonprofits, and the recreational opportunities, those who are getting our kids really back engaged in nature and with what it has to offer, volunteer conservation efforts. So all of that is all bundled up in what I hope is a very fun, productive, economic development, West value kind of initiative for my tenure as chair of the Western Governors. It's for us to share the natural wonders, us to create prosperity, us to show why we're proud and why we live in the best part of the world. So we can move our communities forward, we can have a bright economic future, we can build on our natural beauty, we can strengthen the West. So this next year, along with all the other challenges we've got, let's tell everybody, get out west. There's the place to be. So that's the initiative for the next year.